Hello children, today I am continuing the topic India's external affairs, and today I will tell you and discuss the circumstances in which non-aligned movement was started. As we know that not only in India but many other countries of Asia and Africa were there who were the colony of other government, as India was the colony of British. In the same way, South Africa was also the colony of British government, and then Indonesia was there, which was under the colony of Dutch government. So, the freedom struggle for making the country free from all the imperial countries were not going only in India, but these struggles were going in other part of the world also. So, India was not in the condition of isolation. Many other countries were also facing this situation. Then relations with other countries. Before independence also, India was having its relation with other countries of the world. For example, we have seen that Mahatma Gandhi took initiative for the Satyagraha movement in South Africa. It means we were having relations with South Africa also. In the same way, Subhash Chandra Bose established Indian National Army, and he was connected with the Germany government also and Singapore also, because he went there and he stayed there for some time. So we were having relations with Germany also and Singapore also. The third example is, during the Second World War, Indian soldiers were used by the British government, and they were also connected with the other countries. The next is political, economic and military confrontation. As we know that after the Second World War, that is in 1945, the Cold War started, and we became free in 1947. So during the period when we became free, the period was that when in two power blocks, that is USA and USSR, started to make political, economic and military confrontation, due to which the situation became conflicted between two blocks, which was not easy for India to join one block, because we needed help from both the countries, that is from both the powerful countries like USA also and USSR also. Then the next point is United Nations. There was a need for an international organization which could manage and maintain law and order in the whole world. We know that there was an organization, League of Nations. This organization, League of Nations, this organization was initiated or made after the First World War, and First World War was between the 1914 to 1918. After the First World War, there was a need of an international organization which could maintain law and order in the whole world, due to which the organization of League of Nations was done. But when the Second World War took place, then the existence of League of Nations was finished, and now there was a need for new international organization after the Second World War, due to which there was talks were going on, dialogues were going on for the emergence of new international organization, and due to which 24 October and 1945 there was a new organization came into existence. It was United Nations organization, right? Now new thing was there that in China there was a monarchy, but after some time in communist revolution took place, and after that in 1949 communist regime in China came into existence. What was the period? It was a period of 1949. The communist regime in China took place, and you now see that the situations which were at the international level, in that situation there was a need to make international policy for India in such a way so that we can achieve our targets also, and we can have good relations with other countries of the world also, which was not possible, and it was not so easy to have such kind of policies which may be easy to implement. Now let's know, children, about the Nehru's role in the formation of non-aligned movement. The first thing is that Nehru favored the concept of sovereignty. Before that, we should know that Nehru was the Prime Minister and he was the Foreign Minister also, and he formulated foreign policy for the period of 1946 to 1964. And whatever the concepts and basic principles he adopted, they were: first was sovereignty. Sovereignty means we know that after a long struggle we could become free from British rule, so it was necessary to maintain this principle, that is sovereignty, so that we could have freedom to decide, to take the decisions of internal affairs also and external affairs also, and no country could rule in our country again in future. So this was the main purpose of the foreign policy formulated by the Nehru. Then next was territorial integrity. We know that after a very challenging task, it was possible for the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was the then Home Minister of the first government, that is in 1950 when there was a first election took place, and after that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel became the first Home Minister. For him it was also not possible to integrate all the princely states. Princely states in India. What do you mean by princely states? The states which were not under the control of the British government, but they were independent, and we can say they were not totally independent, but they were under the rule of princes, and those princes had accepted the supremacy of British government. But they were not totally under the British government also, and according to the plan according to the plan by which the British government gave the right to become free and to form the Constitution of India. According to that plan, the princely states were having right to join India or become free or become an independent nation. So it was not an easy task to mobilize all the princely states to join India. So Nehru was knowing and aware about this fact. So this was also the basic principle of the foreign policy and of non-aligned movement also for the Nehru. Then the next one was sovereignty, then other was territorial integrity, then third was economic development. Economic development was the biggest task, and he was also also knowing this. So whatever the situations were there, he preferred to have joined or to initiate non-aligned movement. And as we are studying the circumstances in which non-aligned movement was initiated, and what was the role of the Nehru. Next, the most important thing was that whatever the policies Nehru had adopted, some critics were also there and some people were favoring and them also, and some leaders were also there who gave their own ideas and views. We can take the example of Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar. Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar said that we should adopt the foreign policy and in the favor of USA, because USA is in the favor of democratic form of government, that it promotes democracy. It promotes democracy. Then the next was Bharatiya Janata Sangh and Swatantra Party. They also said that the foreign policy should be in the favor of USA. The reason was that they say that they are against the communism, or we can say communist thinking or communist government of USSR and communism thinking. What is communism? Communism is an ideology and this ideology is followed by USSR, because USSR is a communist country. So the Bharatiya Janata Sangh and Swatantra Party were in the favor of the policies which are, or which policies favor the USA only because USA is against, or we can say is just not favoring the communist regime. That's why. And with this, Nehru also accepted that we should use our human resources for the United Nations peacekeeping force. United Nations peacekeeping force. Nehru wanted to help United Nations by using our nation human resources in the United Nations peacekeeping force. At the same time, Nehru also said that these two power blocks are maintaining some military alliances or some military confrontation, and due to which we should maintain distance from two power blocks. And as we can take one example that USA. Later there was a NATO, that is a North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and this was led by USA, and this was also a military confrontation. And then USSR led Warsaw Pact. That's why Nehru said that we should be away from all these military alliances and we should prefer peace. And so whatever the decisions Nehru was taking and whatever the reactions we were giving in the world politics, that was very important, because non-alignment movement is not neutrality. Neutrality means it does not mean that we have become neutral and we are not concerned with the world politics. Certainly we are concerned also, and we are going to have and give the reactions also. For example, we can take that 1956. In 1956, British attacked on Egypt over Suez Canal issue, and in this there was a reaction from the world community, and India was leading this procession of going against of this attack, because India did not want that now British could make any country its colony, and it was against the colonization, because there was a process now started of decolonization, and countries started to become independent. So India was leading this procession which was going against the attack on Egypt for the issue of Suez Canal. But the reaction was also not very balanced every time. There was another example that in the same year there was an invasion of USSR on Hungary. But at this time, India did not react. So we cannot say that every time it was reacting, it was not also so balanced, which should be balanced in the world politics. Now the biggest role of India was that India was just convincing the countries which became newly independent to join non-alignment movement, and that is NAM. But Pakistan did not join this, and it joined US led some military alliances. US was not happy with the establishment of NAM, because it did not want that there should be a establishment of an initiation of this type of organization, because it wanted that the USA wanted that most of the countries should be its ally, and so that it could be benefited. But it could not happen, and the result was that during the period of 1950s, the relationship between India and USA was not very good, and the result was that it also affected some field of development, or we can say it also affected us in many ways. Nehru was just provoking and motivating other independent nations to join the non-alignment movement, and some countries joined it also and some did not. But certainly when the countries which joined it, they got benefit, because it was just like a regional organization, and there was a conference in Bandung, which was a city of Indonesia in 1955. In 1955, there was a city Bandung. Here the conference was held, and after this conference the non-alignment movement organization, that is NAM, came into existence, and the first summit of NAM was held in Belgrade in 1961, and from then it started to work as a organization of third countries. Third countries means the countries which did not join any power blocks, but they became independent from the colonial rules, and they were the developing nations. Okay, thanks children, that's all for today. Thank you, have a nice day.